They told me it was temporary. That was the word my daughter used, her voice soft and careful, the way you speak to someone you're already planning to betray. Temporary. Just until you rest, just until you get stronger, just until we figure things out. I remember nodding. I remember smiling. I remember thinking how strange it was that everyone suddenly agreed. I looked tired only after the children were grown and the house was paid off. The morning they took me, my grandson didn't hug me goodbye. He was late for school. I had raised those children from diapers to diplomas, while their parents built careers, while my daughter learned to talk about deadlines and promotions as if they were weather patterns. Unavoidable, more important than birthdays or fevers or bedtime stories. I cooked, I cleaned, I waited up at night. I was there when the children cried. I was invisible when they succeeded. And now, at 72, I was being driven away with one small suitcase and a folded cardigan that still smelled like my house. My house. The building looked nothing like the brochures. No bright smiles. No gardens full of laughter. Just a low concrete structure with windows that didn't open more than a hand's width. The sign said care residence, but the air smelled like surrender. A nurse took my name without looking at my face. Room 214, she said. Lunch is at 12, dinner at 6. Don't wander, don't wander. As if I had anywhere left to go. The room was narrow. One bed. One dresser. One window facing a parking lot where families came and went. I sat on the edge of the mattress and listened. You learn a lot by listening. Coughs that lasted too long. Footsteps that never came back. Voices that lowered when someone passed. That was when I understood the truth. This wasn't temporary. This was where inconvenient people were stored. That first night, I cried silently into my pillow like I had when my husband died. Not because I was weak, but because no one had warned me how quiet betrayal could be. On the third day, a woman sat beside me at lunch. She was sharp-eyed, silver-haired, and smiling in a way that suggested she had already lost everything once and survived. They always say temporary, she said, without looking at me. I froze. What? I asked. She stirred her soup slowly. Families. They say it so they can sleep at night. Her name was Margaret, and she was the first ally I didn't know I needed. Margaret knew things. She knew which nurses listened, which ones talked, which paperwork mattered, and which signatures ruined lives. She knew which residents had been lawyers, accountants, former judges, a woman who once worked in probate law and still remembered every loophole. These walls, Margaret whispered one evening, are full of people they underestimated. I looked around the common room, bent backs, shaking hands, quiet faces, and for the first time since I arrived, I didn't feel powerless. That night, my daughter didn't call, neither did my son-in-law, but I wasn't waiting for them anymore. I was listening, and I was learning. I didn't dream that night. I listened. Old buildings breathe differently at night. Pipes click like knuckles. Elevators sigh. Somewhere down the hall, a television murmured to no one in particular, and beneath it all, the sound I recognized best. People being forgotten. On the 5th day, my daughter finally called. She spoke quickly, cheerfully, as if speed could erase guilt. "Mom, how are you settling in?" Settling in. like I was a package. "I'm fine," I said. I made my voice thin, careful, the voice they expected. "That's good. That's really good," she replied too fast. "Listen, we had to make a few adjustments at the house. Just practical things. You understand?" I closed my eyes. "Adjustments? That old roof was costing a fortune," she continued. "And the kids need stability. You'd want them to feel at home. At home. In my kitchen. At my table. In the bedroom where my husband took his last breath." "Of course," I said. Silence stretched. She was waiting for anger, for confusion, for tears. I gave her none. When the call ended, my hands were steady. That scared me, because it meant something inside me had shifted. Margaret found me by the window an hour later. "You heard something today?" she said. It wasn't a question. "They're in my house," I answered. She nodded once. They always move fast when they think time is on their side. Over the next week, the truth arrived in pieces. A careless nurse who mentioned a change of address on my file. A social worker who asked whether I still planned to liquidate remaining assets. A letter misdelivered to my room, addressed to my daughter, stamped with the name of a real estate firm I recognized immediately. They weren't waiting for me to die. They were planning as if I already had. I asked for my file. The young administrator hesitated. "Family usually handles." "I am the family," I said quietly. She slid it across the desk. Inside were copies of documents I had never seen, never signed, never agreed to. That evening, Margaret introduced me to Harold. Harold walked with a cane and spoke slowly, but his eyes missed nothing. "Former contracts attorney," he said. "Retired, not senile." He looked at the paperwork for less than a minute. "This," he said, tapping the page, "is sloppy." I felt my breath catch. "Sloppy how?" I asked. "They rushed. They assumed no one would check." He smiled thinly. "Families always do." Word spread quietly. A woman named Elise, who used to work in probate law. A man who had been an accountant for 30 years and still carried numbers in his head like a second language. Another grandmother who had lost her house the same way, only she had realized too late. We gathered not like conspirators, but like survivors comparing scars. "This place," Elise said one afternoon, lowering her voice, "is full of people whose children think age equals ignorance." She slid a notebook toward me. Inside were names, dates, patterns, similar stories, same phrases. "Temporary. Best for you. We'll take care of everything." That night, I lay in bed and thought of my grandson. The way he used to fall asleep on my chest when he was small. The way he hadn't hugged me goodbye. I wondered what they told him. That I wanted this? That I was happier here? Or that I didn't matter enough to explain? The next morning, I asked the nurse for a pen. Then another. Then a stack of paper. "I'm writing letters," I said. "To family," I smiled. "To everyone, because the thing about being old is this. People stop noticing when you prepare. And preparation, I was learning, is a very quiet form of power." They changed the locks on a Thursday. I know because Margaret's niece still lived 2 streets over from my house. She drove by out of habit, slowed down, and recognized my curtains, still hanging in the front window, only now behind a new set of keys. They didn't even wait, Margaret told me later, her jaw tight. Didn't even pretend. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Not pain. Focus. I asked for a supervised visit. My daughter hesitated when I said the words. Is that really necessary, Mum? The kids are busy, and you're, well, adjusting. I left my wedding ring, I said. A pause. I'll come alone, she said quickly. Tomorrow. She arrived wearing confidence like armor. New coat, new haircut, a smile practiced in mirrors. Oh, Mum, she said, leaning in for a light hug that barely touched. You look rested. I said nothing. I slid the folder across the table. She didn't open it. I don't know what that is, she said. You do, I replied. Her fingers tightened around her cup. They told me you agreed, she said finally. The social worker, the administrator, everyone said it was standard. Who signed for me? I asked. She looked away. That was answer enough. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse. I simply opened the folder and turned it so she could see. There it was. My name, written by a hand that knew the shape, but not the rhythm. Harold had been right. Sloppy. You don't remember everything, she said, her voice thinner now. After the fall, the confusion, we were just trying to help. I leaned forward. Do you know what I remember? I asked. Her eyes flicked up. I remember every night I stayed up waiting for you to come home. Every meal I packed, every check I wrote, and every lie you just told me. The room went quiet. She left without finishing her tea. That night, I didn't cry. I wrote. Elise helped me draft the first letter. Not angry, not emotional, precise. To the facility administrator, to the social services office, to the legal oversight board. I attached copies, dates, signatures, contradictions. Harold checked every line. Once this goes out, he said, they'll panic. I don't want panic, I said. I want truth. He smiled. Truth causes panic. The second letter went to my grandson's school. Not an accusation. A request. For a family history assignment. For grandparents' involvement. For signatures. For dates. Why? Margaret asked softly. Because the lies collapse when children ask questions, I said. The third letter was the hardest. I addressed it to myself. A reminder that love does not excuse theft, that silence is not kindness, that age is not surrender. 3 days later, my daughter called again. She was crying. Mum, why are people calling me? She asked. Why are they asking about paperwork? I listened. Then I said, because someone finally read it. Outside my window. The parking lot filled and emptied. Families came, families left. Inside, a quiet network of forgotten people sat a little straighter. We were not victims. We were witnesses. And witnesses, once they speak, are very hard to silence. The first thing that changed was the tone. Nurses stopped rushing me. Administrators started calling me Mrs. again. The social worker, who had barely looked up from her tablet before, asked if I was comfortable and whether I felt supported by family. I smiled. Comfort, I was learning, arrives late, but it does arrive. My son-in-law came next, not in person. He never liked direct confrontation. He called. "Let's be reasonable," he said, his voice smooth in the way men practice when they're used to being obeyed. "We all want what's best for you." "I agree," I replied. "That's why we need honesty." A pause. "We're under a lot of stress," he continued. "Careers, children. You wouldn't want to burden us." I thought of the nights I slept on the couch so they could have the bedroom when money was tight. "I carried your burdens for decades," I said. "I'm setting them down now." He exhaled sharply. "That paperwork was handled legally," he said. "You don't want to start something you can't finish." There it was. The mistake. A threat dressed as concern. "Thank you," I said. That was very helpful." I hung up before he could respond. Harold laughed when I told him. "He just acknowledged knowledge," he said. "In writing, if the call was logged." "It was," I answered. "Facility records everything." The administration requested a meeting. Suddenly, there were forms to review, consent to verify, consent to investigate, consent to pause asset transfers. Pause, such a small word, such a powerful one. Meanwhile, life inside the residence shifted. People talked, not gossip, strategy. Elise explained how oversight worked. Margaret organized schedules. The accountant, Mr. Reeves, found inconsistencies no one else had noticed. They moved money, assuming no one would cross-check, he said, tapping a ledger. "That's arrogance." I nodded. "Arrogance is expensive." One afternoon, a woman I barely knew slipped into the chair across from me. "They took my pension," she whispered. "My son. I thought it was my fault." I took her hand. "It wasn't," I said. "And it doesn't have to stay that way." Her shoulders shook. That was when I realized this was bigger than me. My daughter tried again. This time, she came in person. No coat, no confidence. "Mom," she said, her voice breaking. "We can fix this. Just tell them you were confused." I looked at her, really looked. At the woman who used to hide behind my legs on her first day of school. "At what cost?" I asked. She didn't answer. That night, Margaret sat beside me in the common room. "They're scared now," she said. "Good," I replied. She smiled. "You know, they never expect mothers to fight back." I watched the lights flicker on in the parking lot. "They forget," I said softly. "Who taught them how to survive?" The letter arrived on a Monday. Thick paper. Official seal. The kind of envelope that makes people sit down before opening it. The facility administrator handed it to me with both hands. "An external review has been approved," she said carefully, "regarding your assets and consent." I thanked her. She hesitated. "If you need anything, please let us know." That was new. The review team arrived 2 days later. 3 people. Neutral faces, calm voices. They asked about dates, about signatures, about intent. Intent, I learned, mattered more than affection. My daughter's lawyer called before she did. He tried to sound friendly. "These situations are often misunderstandings," he said. Memory lapses can complicate things. Then it's fortunate, I replied, that my memory is well documented. Silence. Mr. Reeves found the clause that afternoon. He tapped the page with a knuckle. "This," he said, "is what saves you." I leaned in. A paragraph buried deep in my original trust. Written years ago. Written by my late husband. A transfer of property or financial authority requires confirmation by the grantor in the presence of an independent third party unless declared legally incapacitated by court order. I closed my eyes. They had neither. They assumed age was enough, Elise said. They assumed love would keep me quiet, I replied. The calls escalated. My son-in-law left 3 messages in 1 hour. My daughter texted apologies that never quite reached regret. The grandchildren were suddenly mentioned. "We don't want to confuse them," my daughter said. I read the message twice, then deleted it. The review team requested additional documentation. They requested bank records. They requested facility call logs. They requested my medical evaluations. Everything my family thought would protect them now exposed them. One evening, Margaret poured tea and raised her cup. "To clauses," she said. I smiled. "To reading." A week later, the house was officially flagged. No sale, no refinancing, no transfer. Frozen. I imagined my son-in-law pacing, calculating, realizing how many plans depended on my silence. That night, I wrote one final letter. Not to officials, to my grandchildren. I told them stories about scraped knees, about bedtime songs, about the way love shows up before success does. I didn't accuse. I didn't explain. I simply existed on the page. Truth has a way of traveling. They didn't come with lawyers. They came with concern. That was how I knew it was dangerous. My daughter arrived early before breakfast, eyes red, voice gentle in a way that felt rehearsed. "Mom, everyone's worried," she said, sitting too close. "You've been under a lot of stress. The review, the letters. It's not good for you." I said nothing. She took my hand. "We talked to a specialist," she continued. "Just an evaluation. To protect you. To protect everyone." There it was. The desperate move. The administrator knocked 20 minutes later. A clipboard. A new form. "Temporary assessment," she said carefully. "Your family requested." "I requested counsel," I replied. Her pen stopped. "I did," I repeated. "In writing. Last week." She checked the file. Her face changed. They tried again that afternoon. My son-in-law called Margaret's room by mistake. He thought it was mine. "You need to get her under control," he said sharply, "before this gets worse." Margaret recorded everything, every word, every threat wrapped in urgency. The review team advanced the timeline. What was supposed to take months now took days. The common room became a waiting area. Clipboards passed hands. Questions were asked out loud. Residents listened. Staff listened. The walls, as Margaret had said, were listening. A nurse pulled me aside. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't know." I squeezed her hand. "Most people don't," I said. "That's how it works." The evaluation never happened. Instead, the board requested a hearing. On-site, public, transparent. The word public echoed louder than any accusation. My daughter didn't come that day. My son-in-law did. He sat stiffly, jaw clenched, surrounded by people he had never noticed before, people he had underestimated. I spoke last. Not angrily, not dramatically. I spoke the way you do when you've carried something heavy for a long time and finally set it down. I was useful, I said. So I was loved. When I stopped being useful, I was stored. No one interrupted. I don't want revenge, I continued. I want recognition of what was taken and of who I still am. When it ended, the room stayed quiet. Then someone clapped. Just once. It was enough. The ruling came in writing. No drama, no raised voices, just paper. Paper has a way of lasting longer than anger. All transfers were reversed. All authority returned to me. The facility issued a formal apology. The review board noted systemic failure influenced by family pressure. That phrase mattered. It meant I wasn't alone. My son-in-law resigned 3 weeks later. Not officially because of me, officially because personal matters compromise professional judgment. Unofficially, people talk. My daughter wrote a letter, 6 pages. Apologies tangled with explanations. Fear disguised as love. I read it once. Then I placed it in a drawer. Some truths need time to breathe. The grandchildren came to visit. They were quieter than I remembered. Older. They hugged me without being told. That mattered too. I didn't go back to the house. Not yet. Instead, I helped Elise file paperwork for another woman, then another, then another. The residents started hosting weekly clinics, legal aid, financial review, counseling. They called it a pilot program. We called it survival. Margaret sat beside me one evening, watching the sunset. You won, she said. I shook my head. I stopped losing, I replied. I thought winning would feel loud, like a door slamming, like voices raised, like a moment everyone would remember. It didn't. It felt like quiet returning to its proper place. The house was offered back to me. Keys placed in my palm. Apologies delivered carefully as if they might shatter. I thanked them. And I said no. I visited once. Walked through empty rooms that still remembered my footsteps. The kitchen window where I used to watch the children walk home from school. The hallway wall with faint pencil marks measuring their height. The bedroom where my husband and I planned a future we never got to finish. I stood there a long time. Then I closed the door, not in anger, in completion. I stayed. Not because I had nowhere else to go, because I chose to. The residence changed its name that spring. They added benches to the courtyard, a library, a small room where residents could meet privately with advocates. They asked me to advise. I said yes. My daughter calls now. Sometimes. We talk about weather, about the children, about safe things. Love doesn't always survive betrayal, but respect can be rebuilt. Slowly, carefully, if both people carry their share. Margaret passed away in her sleep that summer, peacefully. I keep her teacup on my shelf. She taught me that alliances don't have to be loud to be powerful. People ask why I didn't leave, why I didn't take everything back. I tell them this: When you've spent your life being useful to others, choosing yourself feels like rebellion. And rebellion, at my age, feels like freedom. I am not forgotten. I am not stored. I am not finished. I am exactly where I decided to be. And that finally belongs to me.